Hello, fabulous third graders! Today we are going to compare numbers. It's finally time for the yearly dance recital. There are 124 ballet dancers and 128 tap dancers in the recital. Do the two groups have equal numbers of dancers? If not, which group is greater? So if we look at those two numbers, we know that 124 does not equal 128. So how are we going to compare these numbers? One way to do this is to create yourself a comparing chart with your place values. So we have ones, tens, and hundreds in this chart. And we're going to go ahead and put both of these numbers into the chart. So we're going to start with 124, 1 in the hundreds, 2 in the tens, and 4 in the ones. Then we'll put 128 into the chart, 1 in the hundreds, 2 in the tens, and 8 in the ones. Now when we compare two numbers, we have to start at the greatest place. In this case, it's the hundreds. So we take a look at the first column, the hundreds. 1 is the same as 1. 1 is equal to 1. So that's not going to help us. So now we have to move to the next place value, which is the tens. Now, there's 2 in the tens and 2 in the tens. Well, 2 is equal to 2, so I guess we're going to have to go to the next place, the ones. So now I look at the 4 and the 8. And I think to myself, which one is bigger, the 4 or the 8? That's right, it's the 8. So now I know that 128 is greater than 124, or I can use my mathematical symbols to write that out. 128 is greater than 124. In fact, let's talk a little bit about the symbols that we are going to be seeing and using in this lesson. We have this symbol, which is the greater than symbol, and this symbol, which is the less than symbol. I like to think of this one as a capital L, but on its side. It helps me remember L less than. We already know that this sign means equal to. But this sign with the line through it means not equal to. Sometimes we'll need to put a greater than, less than, or equal to sign in between two numbers that we compare. So this little guy, the greater than, less than alligator, can help us remember which way the symbol goes. So if you take a look at the numbers 63 and 36, we know that 63 is greater than 36. So do you see how it looks like the alligator is eating that bigger number? And look at how our symbol looks kind of like an alligator mouth trying to eat the bigger number. So when we put our symbol in, the greater than or less than symbol, the part that's open is like an alligator's mouth eating the bigger number while it's pointing to the smaller number. Now we're going to use Reteach 2.1 to do some problems together before you try them on your own. So let's take a look at number 1. We're going to compare 24 and 27, and we're going to do that by placing them into a place value chart. Here's my 24, and here's my 27. So when we compare, we have to start with the greatest place. In this case, it's the tens. So we see the tens have 2 and 2, and we know that 2 is equal to 2. So that means we have to move on to the next place, the ones place. So we have 4 and we have 7. So which one of those numbers is the greater number? That's right, it's the 7. So knowing that 7 is greater than 4, or that 4 is less than 7, what symbol are you going to put into the circle? I'll let you do that, and then we'll check it in a moment. All right, now that you have a symbol in for your answer for number 1, let's take a look at what the correct answer is. 24 is less than 27. Notice that that less than symbol looks like a capital L kind of squished and tilted to its side. And the alligator mouth is eating the greater number while the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. So knowing that 7 is greater than 4 helped us determine that 27 is greater than 24, or 24 is less than 27. Let's try number 2. We will compare 43 and 83 by placing them in a place value chart. Here is my 43 and here is my 83. Now remember, in order to compare numbers, we have to start with the greatest place. In this case, it's the tens column. I have a 4 and I have an 8. Which one of those digits is the greater digit? That's right. It's 8. So knowing that 8 is greater than 4, try to put in a symbol to show comparison of 43 and 83, and we'll come back in just a moment to check out the answer. So the correct answer for number 2 is 43 is less than 83. Now remember, you found out that 8 is greater than 4, so that means that 83 is greater than 43, or 43 is less than 83. So there's that less than symbol that kind of looks like a capital L tilted on its side, and the alligator mouth is eating the greater number, and the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. Here is number 3. We're going to compare 98 and 98. Now, I know you probably already know what symbol to put in there, so go ahead and put the symbol you think belongs into that circle. But then let's just see what happens when we compare these two numbers in a place value chart. So we're going to put 98 into the chart and 98 into the chart. Now remember, we start with the greatest place, so that means in this case it's the tens. 9 is equal to 9. So that means we have to go to the next place, the ones. 8 is equal to 8. So that means that 98 is equal to 98. Here's number 4, 50 and 15. Placing these in a place value chart, here is my 50, here is my 15. Now, we have to start with the greatest place, which in this case is the tens, so we're going to figure out which one of those numbers is greater. Yep, you guessed it, it's the 5. So go ahead and put the symbol that you think is correct into the circle for number 4, and then we'll check it in just a bit. All right, now that you've had a chance to do that, let's take a look at the correct answer. 50 is greater than 15. So look at that. Alligator mouth is eating the bigger number, or the greater number rather, and the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. Let's look at number 5 for some 3-digit numbers. 162 and 157. Let's compare these in a place value chart. Here's my 162, here's my 157. Now remember, I have to start with the greatest place in order to compare. So in this case, that would be the hundreds. But 1 is equal to 1, which means we have to move to the next place, which is the tens. Which one of those numbers is the greater number? That's right, it's the 6. So let that help you decide which symbol goes into the circle on number 5, and we'll check it in just a moment. So here is the correct answer for number 5. 162 is greater than 157. If 6 is greater than 5, then that means that 162 is greater than 157. That alligator mouth is eating the greater number, and the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. Here is number 6. 2 more 3-digit numbers. Let's put these into our place value chart. 105 and 102. Now remember, to compare, we have to start in the greatest place. In this case, it's the hundreds. but we see that 1 is equal to 1, which means we have to move into the next place, which is the tens. But here again, 0 is equal to 0, so we have to move to the next place, which is the ones. Which of those numbers is the greater number? That's right, it's 5. So that knowledge is going to help you place a symbol into the circle for number 6. And we'll check it in just a moment. All right, here's the correct answer for number 6. 105 is greater than 102. Remember, knowing that 5 is greater than 2 helps you determine that 105 is greater than 102. And that alligator mouth is eating the greater number, and the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. We're going to do one more problem together. We're going to jump all the way down to number 20 so we can compare two 4-digit numbers. So once again, we're going to place those two numbers into a place value chart. So 2,954 gets placed into the chart, as well as 2,945. Now, as always, to compare two numbers, we have to start in the greatest place. In this case, it's the thousands. But we see that 2 is equal to 2. So that means we have to move to the next place, the hundreds. And we find out again that 9 is equal to 9. So we have to move to the next place, the tens place. Which of those numbers is the greater of the two? That's right, it's the 5. So using this knowledge, put in a symbol for number 20 to help you compare those two numbers, and we'll check it in a bit. All right. Here's the answer to number 20. 2,954 is greater than 2,945. Knowing that the 5 is greater than the 4 helps us determine that the 2,954 is greater than 2,945. And once again, that alligator mouth is eating the greater number, and the arrow is pointing to the lesser number. All right, get ready to do some all by yourself.